evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. At 8 p.m., we will like to focus on the unfortunate transformer tragedy that claims the lives of a father and his daughter on 25th of March. Actually, it was criminal apathy that killed both of them. Finally, 4 days after the tragic incident, some action has been taken. Mirror Now viewers has been the only channel relentlessly covering this story, demanding justice as well as accountability. If only the officials had acted and responded to frantic emergency calls on time on that fateful day, Shivaraj and Chaitanya perhaps would have been alive today. On Friday, the transformer near a bridge exploded, spilling oil over Shivaraj and Chaitanya. The Bangalore Electricity Supply Company Limited had received a complaint at around 12:50 p.m., but it was not addressed. The explosion took place around 3:10 in the afternoon. Chaitanya's marriage was recently fixed and they were returning after booking a marriage hall. Mirror Now's continuous coverage has forced the government to act now. 2 officials of Bengaluru Electricity Supply Company have been arrested. These include a junior engineer and an assistant engineer who've been held responsible for the death of Shivaraj and Chaitanya. The Bengaluru Electricity Supply Company will also audit transformers located near schools, footpaths and other sensitive locations in Bengaluru city to ensure safety of the people and to avoid such accidents in the future. It is a good thing, but the larger question is, why did it take 2 deaths for the government to wake up? Shouldn't the transformers be audited regularly? How will the government now ensure that such incidents are not repeated? Before we begin this debate, let's listen in to what the cop in charge of the probe so far had to say.
Both of them have been working with BESCOM at different capacities. On 23rd afternoon, this incident had taken place. Both the persons had succumbed to injuries because of burn injuries. And after that, once the complaint was lodged, wherein the complainant had accused BESCOM officials of negligence, we had sought certain information from the department. We are yet to receive the replies for that. Okay. However, the investigating officer has collected information on the role of the people, those who are supposed to do the maintenance and supervision. Based on the negligence found so far, we were able to arrest 2 persons. Investigation continues, and we still have to ascertain what exactly was the cause and who else is responsible for this negligence.
And there's some breaking update as well coming at this point in time. We are being told that BESCOM officials have not responded to both notices of the police so far. They are not cooperating with the officials as far as investigation is concerned. Let's straight away go across to my colleague Neha, who's been tracking the story very, very closely, joining us on the broadcast this evening. Neha, good evening. What more details can you share with us? Because it was, in fact, this lackadaisical attitude of BESCOM officials that claimed the lives of 2 innocent people without any fault of theirs.
That's absolutely right, Hina. And, it's now after the entire Mirror Now team has, in fact, sort of built pressure on the officials that we're actually seeing some action being taken. Our colleague, in fact, Imran as well as Revati also, who aggressively reported on this issue, asked all the tough questions to the officials. And today we're seeing the outcome of which is, 2 arrests. However, it's still important to stress here that the government still continues to, in fact, sort of take a very negligent approach towards this, because the BESCOM officials over here who are responsible for this have still not responded to the notices. Yes, while the police in their capacity has made 2 arrests as of today, 2 engineers, in fact, one a junior engineer and another an assistant engineer, while they've been arrested, the BESCOM still hasn't replied to both the notices sent by the police to their department. And in fact, the DCP, of course, of the West Division also, while speaking to us, likely said that the investigation continuing, so more arrests could come in. However, it's still imperative to note over here, Hina, that, even after all of this, the larger issue that still persists is that of transformers being placed in unsafe locations, the minor issues that are to be, taken up with the transformers on the whole, the general maintenance of these, and that is what the government, of course, would now have to focus on.
All right. Thank you very much, Neha, for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this developing story from Karnataka. Let's now move on and welcome our guest on Urban Debate this evening. T.S. Chandrasekhar, spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us. Lavanya Balal, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Pawan Shyam, advocate, Karnataka High Court, is live with us. And Shekhar Vijayan, motivational speaker and an actor, also live with us, and a citizen voice on the show today. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. The question that I want to ask each one of you tonight is, why is it that only a tragedy wakes up governments in this country? In this case also, it was not one but actually two issues that killed Chaitanya and her father. 19-year-old Chaitanya, who was about to get married. Her family members were waiting for both of them to return so that they can begin these celebrations. But that couldn't happen, unfortunately, because one, the transformer incident that happened. Second, the condition of the road was really bad, that if they had not stopped their vehicle, they probably would have been alive today. That's what some eyewitnesses have been telling us on this particular story. Let's begin with you, Mr. T.S. Chandrasekhar. Why is it that only after two deaths the government has woken up? Why can't we be prepared to ensure the citizens are safe in this country, in Karnataka specifically, in the capital city of Bengaluru?
Good evening, and thanks for having me. And first of all, from my party point of view, we really feel condoled for the death of Chaitanya and Shivaraj, Kumar. And secondly, every life matters. That's why immediately in the session in the Karnataka Assembly, the minister, Energy Minister, immediately told that we are going to audit every transformers in Bangalore city, and we'll make sure that this type of things will not repeat. Number one. Number two, the local MLA, who is also a corporation minister in this area, he immediately asked to load the complaint, and today junior engineer and assistant engineer, they are getting investigated. And also within BESCOM, in 1 crore, this is a type of case where the lead will, the wire will break up and there is a pill in the oil. So we don't want this type of things to get repeated, but we will make sure that everybody, life is valuable, and Bangalore will become more safe, secure, and it will be very peaceful. And we also have a Karnataka High Court judgment where the transformers should not be in the payments, or it should not be at the school, all these things. It is all looked after, because these are all the legacies which have been come up, and we'll make sure that this will never happen. And our government, from the center to states, we are driving a mechanism where whatever reforms or whatever actions we take, that reaches the last man.
It's good to hear, Lavanya Balal, that the BJP spokesperson here on Urban Debate tonight is telling us that, you know, there are plans to make the city safer for the people of Bengaluru. But the question is, why wake up only after two deaths? These could have been averted. It is because of somebody's lackadaisical attitude that we have seen a family completely devastated today.
Good evening, and I have to say we appreciate the effort Mirror Now has put in following this case and the updates that Mirror Now has been bringing to us. Hats off to you guys. And you know, it's a very valid question that you have raised, irrespective of whichever government is in power in the nation. This, I think, is a question that we need to ask. Why is it that it takes a disaster for the officials to wake up? You know, every time it's about somebody's loss of life, and it's only then that people will wake up and say, hey, this is what's going on right now. So I think it's high time that we start questioning our bureaucrats and hold the politicians responsible as well about the disasters that keep happening time and again.
Well, absolutely. And we also heard, Pavan Sham, that the BESCOM officials have not really responded to both notices of the police. They are not even cooperating with the officials for investigation. The details that my colleague Neha has brought for our viewers. Of course, some people have been arrested. 2 people, to be precise, in this case have been arrested. But it has taken 4 days for police there to arrest these people.
It's appalling, actually. How is it that the BESCOM department is not responding to the police? Or why are they not cooperating with the police?
Yes.
First of all, it was
Yes.
negligence on their part, which resulted in the loss of 2 lives. A family is devastated today. We are only talking about
Yes.
Chaitanya's family. Let's also think about Chaitanya's, groom who was supposed to get married to Chaitanya. Even that family would be devastated today, right? So we are not even thinking about how many lives have been affected.
Absolutely.
Even today in Karnataka, we have a lot of transformers on the footpath, especially in Bangalore. And when we are talking about smart city, we need to make it a point to ensure that these transformers are moved away from the footpaths. Only then I think our cities can be smart cities.
Pavan Shyam, how will you like to respond? Why is it always that the governments wake up only after a disaster or a tragedy? Why can't we be prepared for a situation like this? And here in this case specifically, calls were being made continuously for a few hours. The accident took place around 3:10 in the afternoon. The calls about leakage were being made from about 12:50, but nobody really responded.
Would certainly say that the government has not woken up right now. Why? Because this is not the first incident, and this would certainly not be the last incident. Back in 2013, there was a similar death, where a man was killed on the Church Street due to a transformer blast. Now, there have been many incidents after that, because of which the Honorable High Court of Karnataka intervened in 2015. They had asked the BESCOM to relocate the transformers from the footpaths to a safer place. Now, no action has been taken by the BESCOM since then. There are approximately 8,500 transformers till today on the footpaths and roads in Bangalore city. In 2021, there was another PIL filed, and yet there's no action by the BESCOM whatsoever. The Honorable High Court of Karnataka is monitoring the situation, and they have been consistently directing the BESCOM to transfer the transformers from the roads to safer places, which the BESCOM fails to, abide by. Now, if the High Court of Karnataka itself is monitoring, and this is the carelessness of the BESCOM, I would wonder what would the BESCOM be doing if they were not being watched upon at all. Now, I'm sorry to say this might probably not be the last incident in Bangalore city, because to transfer 8,500 transformers, probably the BESCOM would take another 5 years, out of which at least few tens of people would have been killed by them.
Mr. T.S. Chandrasekhar, will you like to respond?
Yeah, after that 2013 incident, where a 37-year-old man died, and we had the BESCOM had changed nearly 3,194 transformers over poles, and they had plans to remove another 2,785 in a couple of months. It is also moving nearly 100 transformers to a new location. So BESCOM has not done anything either in earlier government or this government. I don't agree. They are doing certain work, but this incident, what is happening now, it is in 1 crore, one incident like this. Secondly, auditing is also going on within BESCOM.
So 2 people have lost their lives. Again, you are repeating what you told us on Friday, that this is an isolated incident.
No,
but 2 people have lost their lives. It might be an isolated incident for you, sir, but 2 people have lost their lives. Do these lives not matter? I asked you this question on Friday also.
Madam, since the last government...
Please do not justify this by sharing numbers with us. Numbers, compensation is not going to bring back these 2 people.
See, madam, see, in the first phase, nearly 3,194 transformers have been shifted after the High Court verdict in 2021. So now BESCOM has now taken up shifting another 2,785 transformers with the help of Bangalore Traffic Police. And secondly, there are a majority of the transformers which are in problem are located in the East Circle 923 and South Circle 903. So now the question now the question is, BESCOM is trying to do the internal auditing and they're inquiring how did this loop happen, and they'll make sure that these things will never repeat. And secondly, madam, from the see, these are from the last government or this government or any government. See, our main intention is we want the people to be safe, secure, and healthy. So there is no politics here. It is the people's well-being. So as the advocate said, but nothing has been done even after the High Court verdict means I will not agree, because the statistics clearly says that there has been a lot of work, lot of transformers have been moved. See, totally in Bangalore, we are having around 4,50,584 transformers. In that, 6.18%, there is a failure in that. With that, within Bangalore, we are having 45 numbers of transformers repairs. So this type of incident, we don't want it to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and whenever they want to change the place from one place to other, it will take them around 15 lakh rupees. Total, they need around 150 crore rupees to do all the changes. And if you want more details or data, you can go to the homepage of BESCOM and also check the government.
Okay, I'll get Lavanya to respond to what you're saying. One second. I'll get Lavanya to respond to what you're saying. But before that, let me go across to Shekhar Vijayan as well, who is a citizen voice on the show this evening. Shekhar, as a citizen of this country, how will you like to respond to what has happened? It has taken 4 days for the police there to arrest 2 people. Neha, my colleague who's been tracking the case closely along with Imran and Revati, was telling us that, BESCOM officials have not really responded to the notices that have been sent by the police. They're not even, cooperating with the officials for the investigation. Will, these kind of comments that Mr. Chandrasekhar is making on the show today, what has been said by the government, will this really change the mindset of the people who are working in these transformers? Because eventually it was the callous attitude of the people who were present there that cost us the lives of these 2 innocent people.
Thank you for having me on the show. I think this is an issue which we've been speaking about since time immemorial. Infrastructure in Bangalore is pathetic. And there are so many memes made around the potholes, so many memes made around the roads. There are so many jokes around it. I as an Indian, I travel around the world. Bangalore is known for its information. We have information which is moving at such a fast pace. But even now, we are just finding excuses. At the end of the day, people have lost human lives. And we have lost 2 human lives. We've lost a girl who was about to get married. We lost a father who was very proud that his daughter's getting married. And they just lost their lives because of sheer negligence. Now, here we're just changing the goalpost here and between the different political parties. But at the end of the day, people have lost lives. And you can't replace it. And on top of that, BESCOM is acting like an agency which does not take responsibility, does not take accountability. We are living in Bangalore. Bangalore is a city which is known for so many things. It's known for the startup world. Bangalore is a city which everybody around the world knows it. But our infrastructure is so bad. It's so pathetic. I stay in Whitefield, and I can give a challenge to anyone right now. There are enough and more potholes. We're just waiting for a downpour to happen here. You will see potholes appearing automatically, irrespective of whichever party is in charge. The point of the matter here is our human life. It can't be so. It can't be so tedious. It can't be so. There has to be some accountability. There has to be a responsibility. There has to be someone who can take charge here. The joke going around is if the Prime Minister makes a visit to Bangalore, only then the roads improve. Only then the infrastructure improves. That's the sad reality of Bangalore. If he does not make a trip to Bangalore, nothing changes. We will be still living in the Stone Ages. We will be still having memes where people are walking like they're on the moon because of the potholes. And this is really bad about the transformers. I think it's very, very, very disheartening. If you don't have value for human life and there's no accountability and responsibility from an agency like BESCOM, then I really don't know in which kind of world are we living in, What kind of city are we living in? Is it so bad? I don't think so. Bangalore is a great city. Bangalore is a very cosmopolitan city. We've got so many different cultures, so many different languages, so many different regions coming in together. Why can't it happen? There are so many enterprising companies here, and full credit to all of you at Mirror now for championing this cause and for making sure this happens, for making people accountable for this. But I really believe we have to rise up as citizens and partner and collaborate on this together. And there needs to be accountability. There needs to be responsibility. These are our elected representatives. They are elected for a certain reason. They're elected to make sure that we have the right infrastructure in place. If this is the least basic thing you can't achieve, then I don't understand. What are we discussing? What are we fighting about? This is the most common thing, right? I think I think this is what our elected representatives are rated on. This is basic civic manners. This is basic things which you need to have when you step out. You cannot be stepping out and making sure that you die just because there's a transformer nearby, there is oil spillage, and even after 2 days, calls are not answered. Nobody answers the call. Nobody takes accountability. Nobody takes responsibility. Then we start fighting it out. Petitions are raised. And once petitions are raised, then Mirror now comes in and champions the cause. But then that's too little, too late. That's too little, too late. It is very disheartening. And I'm not blaming anybody, but ultimately it all boils down to which political party wants to take this up and do something about it. Because at the end of the day, people like you and me will suffer. And nothing is going to work out until one of them, one of the political parties, face the blame. It's never going to work. Until you and I suffer, nothing's going to happen. And I believe we just have to keep fighting it. And it's so hypocritical. We are living in like I'm staying in Bangalore. It's got the best climate in the world. It's such a beautiful city, such wonderful people. But when you see situations like this, where people just die because of sheer negligence, you feel really bad. You feel really disheartened. You really lose. You start losing faith. And when you start losing faith for the political party, it becomes very dangerous. I think we need a trip from the Prime Minister once again here in Bangalore. Only then things change. Unfortunately, that's the truth. Only when he makes a trip to Bangalore, roads suddenly change overnight, potholes disappear, everybody becomes accountable and responsible. It's like there's a good cop and there's a bad cop. And that's what is going to happen here right now, I believe.
You've raised some very, very crucial points. I'll get Lavanya to respond to, what the BJP spokesperson said earlier, and then I'll go across to Pawan Sham as well, because, the issue is that it can be any of us tomorrow, because the situation is quite bad. And here in this case, we are talking about what happened with the transformer. I mean, locals noticed the smoke and fire in the transformers at around 11:50. The only thing the engineers, the people who were around that transformer had to do was to immediately address the complaint, immediately see what the locals are talking about. They didn't. And this is criminal apathy. It shouldn't go unpunished only by arresting two junior people. In BESCOM is not going to solve this problem. Lavanya.
Absolutely. And I think our BJP spokesperson was giving facts and figures, which is not going to bring back those lives lost. And like our previous speaker was mentioning, yes, everybody needs to be held accountable. The roads of Bangalore is in a very pathetic state. And that reminds me, we do not have a governing body for the Bangalore Corporation yet. We do not have a governing body from more than a year now, which also is a big question that we have to raise. Also, my point is, if at midnight somebody had called up the BESCOM officials and informed them that the oil is leaking at the transformer, what were they waiting for? Who were they waiting for? Why didn't they take immediate action? Do they need somebody to lose their lives to take action is the biggest question here. And like you said, it's not just about two officials. If you also notice, even the BESCOM employees are not safe. The linemen who go about checking these electrical connections and everything, have you seen how risky their life is? I think it's high time we in India think about people's lives are much more valuable than what these bureaucrats or political leaders put a price to it or do not put a price to it. I do not know. But this situation has to change. And I totally agree. It's everybody's responsibility, no matter whichever political party. It's our responsibility to ensure people do not lose their lives like this. And I'm shocked that after this incident also, that BESCOM refusing to cooperate with the police. And I think somebody should ask the power minister why this is happening.
Hmm. And in fact, Pavan Sham, the BESCOM director had said that this was a one-off rare incident. If this is going to be the attitude, then even after the government says that, the audit will happen of the transformers that are there in the city of Bengaluru, do you feel safe as a citizen of Karnataka?
Well, I would definitely not feel safe as a citizen. And, this is not a rare incident. And assuming even if it's a rare incident, of course, someone who's dead is a common person, and there's no, it's just a number after all for my friend. And then had it been a member of some influential family, then the situation would have been different. And even now, there is nothing for us to celebrate, by saying 2 people have been arrested. But what's next? Under Section 304A, if you're arrested, getting bail is child's play. It's not an issue at all. It's not that he will be behind bars for next few years or something. It's a matter of days that he's out on bail and is back in service. And probably the trial will go on for another 10, 15 years, and people will forget. People will forget the case in another week. And the government might not even, continue this as vigorously as they have been doing in the last 2 days, supposedly.
Mr. Chandrasekhar, will you like to respond?
Yes, madam. I think a message is being given that everything Bangalore is bad. Road is bad, electricity is bad, water is bad, and every infrastructure is bad. Please travel in a Bangalore metro, or you travel in a Bangalore buses.
You know why it is being said, Mr. Chandrasekhar? Because a couple of days ago, because of a pet pothole, Mr. Chandrasekhar, you know why this message today is being given? Because just a couple of days ago, a techie lost his life because of a pothole in Bengaluru city. These 2 people, the father and his daughter, they lost their life because the road condition was bad, and second, there was leakage in this particular transformer and a blast happened. So who is to be blamed here? Can you please tell me? Should we not question the authorities? Should we not question the government, Mr. Chandrasekhar?
Madam, 2 important things. Number 1 is police is doing their investigation, and they have already, for the first time within 4 days, they have put, they immediately filed a FIR, and 2 engineers have been arrested. Number 1. Number 2 is the minister himself has said in the assembly session that every transformer in Bangalore auditing will be done. So this type of things will not get repeated. Number 2, this was number 2. Number 3
is there a timeline, Mr. Chandrasekhar? Is there a timeline?
Madam,
is there a timeline that you can give to our viewers that this is the time period that you are looking at for conducting the audit of the transformers in Bengaluru city? Because these are the kind of responses we hear every time there is a tragedy. You know why we have raised this issue again today? Because we want to ask you, why is it that it always takes a tragedy for the governments to wake up? Now, today, again, you are making promises that, your government is going to ensure audit is conducted. Is there a timeline that you have in mind?
Madam, yes, obviously. Madam,
can you assure the people of Karnataka who are watching the show tonight that, you are doing something, you have learned your lessons, heads are going to roll after 2 people have lost their lives? Can you give that assurance?
Madam, the first thing is I am also a father, a husband, I'm also a brother, and also I have a friends, everybody, and we want to make Bangalore city as the safe, secure, and healthy. See, we have done. For example, how we handle the coronavirus, the way we give the injections. That is how we are also going to make the Bangalore city safe, secure, and healthy. So, within another 1 year, until our tenure is there in the state government, we will make sure that this type of things will never repeat, and whatever actions has been taken, that is very good. And also, I, as Congress spokesperson, also said, we all want the nation to be safe and secure and happy. That is more important thing. And also, I'm thankful for your channel also for raising up this issue. See, the actions have been done, but we want to make it very clear that we are everything is bad. I don't agree with that because we have constructed Bangalore and we have made Bangalore one of the most beautiful city in the world. That is the truth. We have the best airport in the world, better than Korea, Japan, and anywhere. We have our international airport. We have done the best. So we will
Mr.
make sure that
Chandrasekhar, it is
we will make
also
sure that this type of things will not repeat. We
it
promise
is
you.
also a truth that a techie few days ago lost his life because of a pothole. World-class infrastructure. Yes, it's there in the city of Bengaluru in different parts of Karnataka, but simultaneously there are roads which have too many potholes, and that is something that you also need to now look at. We really hope that you will deliver on the promises that you have made here on the show, and you will not wait for the elections to come when you have to ask the people to vote you back in power, because that is going to be too late. Every life in the state of Karnataka is precious, and that's the reason why we had this debate on what happened with these two people in Bengaluru on Friday. And I really request you that if you are saying that the government will conduct audit of the transformers in the state or in the city of Bengaluru in Karnataka, then I hope it is done in a time-bound manner so that we do not lose any other life because of somebody's negligence.